Hey, Facebook. We are here for our weekly rhythm radio where we get together and talk about things that help us create new rhythms in our lives to live healthier and happier lives. And I'm really excited to be here with my friend Cindy, who is going to, we're going to just have a little chat. We are both passionate about a lot of the same things. And so, Cindy, just thank you so much for coming live with me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thank you. It was such a nice invitation to pop into my mail. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. So thanks for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. So can you just kick us off by sharing a little bit about your journey with your work and what your mission is?
Sure, absolutely. So I would have to say my journey into wellness started, back when I had 3 kids under 5. And and I was really feeling at that time, I was a stay-at-home mom, but I was feeling like I was just wiping noses, butts, and counters all the time. And I kind of just, I kind of lost sight of who I was as Cindy and really what mattered to me. And at the time, I kept pushing those thoughts away because I kind of felt that, gosh, you have 3 healthy kids, a husband that loves you, you love him, you have a nice house, you have all these blessings. Like, what more should you want? Just be happy with what you have. And then it switched a little bit for me because I was at the gym and I was lifting, and the manager came up and said, "Hey, you would be a great personal trainer."
Nice.
And it was just that one moment when someone saw, I was like, me? Like someone saw something in me.
Yeah.
And that's really where my journey of wellness began. I gave myself permission that time to go ahead and look into, like, what does it mean to be a personal trainer? How do you do this?
Mm.
And I discovered, and then of course, like anything, that inner critic was like, you haven't done any coursework in years. What if you fail? That's going to be so embarrassing. And who do you think you are that someone's going to want to train with you?
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, I just kind of I did it. And I was really, really proud of myself. And that's really where my journey began. And during that time, actually, I was taking an antibiotic for my skin, and I developed this arthritis, like in my wrists, my hands, my shoulders, my knees, any of my joints. And it was really debilitating for about 4 months. So I then, of course, was on pain medicine. And when I discovered that it was actually the antibiotic for my skin that was finally helping me feel, as an adult with acne, better about myself, um, I realized that it was the medication because I ran out of it. And I couldn't get to my sister couldn't pick up the medicine for me, and my husband was traveling.
Mm.
Then I did the Chinese doctor because I wanted to look at more of that role and being on Vicodin and things. So I wanted to clear all that out of my system. So there's a couple things. And then when I was about 50, I was, after being in my training business for 10 years, our family moved to Montreal. Then I met the Arbonne brand. I was coming back to the States, and Arbonne is a decades old company that's a beauty and wellness. And I wanted the community aspect.
Mm.
And so I jumped into that. And then about a year and a half ago, I became a certified health and life coach.
I love
So I
it.
really have this desire for this holistic lifestyle. And
Mm.
it's been super fun along the way, because with each thing, new experience or new thing that I gave myself permission to try, I've learned so much about myself. So I feel like I've kind of come home to myself, to that true self, and really excited about my days, engaged and excited about learning things, versus when I look back, life was really good, but I don't think that I was living it to my potential. And I probably still am not living it to my potential, to be honest. I'm still
It's a lifelong
discovering.
journey.
Yeah, it's a lifelong journey.
Right, right, right. I think if we got there and we were truly at our full potential, then things would get stale, right? I think that's part of
Absolutely.
the joy and beauty of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for me, it's been a journey,
Yeah,
but it's been a fantastic one. Lots of victories and lots of mistakes and failures and what have you, but that's what makes us stronger.
absolutely. Well, you've just said so many things that just strike a chord with me. First of all, just when you shared how somebody spotted you at the gym and approached you, and how somebody seeing the potential in you was really a spark for you. And that is just so true. I really would want to just highlight that and say, it just kind of made me think of that phrase, see something, say something, when they
Oh,
say like
sure.
at the airport or the train station. But really, how important it is for us to speak up when we do see potential in someone else, because you just do not know how that might change a life, or what kind of trajectory your vote of confidence in that person, even if you didn't go on to become a personal trainer, that moment could have shaped other decisions and actions that you took going forward. And I really think it's really how I started teaching jazzercise. The instructor said, "You should be up here teaching this." And I had danced
Mm,
my whole life, and I was like, so I just want to say, if you see something, say something. Like, just give that person. And a lot of times I find people, or maybe I should just speak for myself, like we hold back from saying anything, like, oh, I don't want to be intrusive or say anything or speak up. But I love that. And the fact that you also said that you gave yourself permission, and you had to silence those critics in your mind. I
right.
think that's huge, 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 to allow ourselves the opportunity to uh, give ourselves permission for whatever it might be, to pursue something that's our passion, or to make a change or a shift in our health, and just
Mm.
kick those critics to the curb, because they're not
Right. Get in the, or
great.
get in, yes, get in the back seat. Because so often, women, it's so easy for us to dim our lights, right? We dim our lights and we're not living, maybe living from a place of fear, from our back end stories, from maybe a sense of maybe some circumstances in your life where you might feel fearful, unworthy, not good enough. I know I struggled with not feeling like, maybe at my core belief, just not feeling smart enough because I didn't go to university.
Mhm, mhm.
So those kind of, I often like to say that and be a bit vulnerable, because you're right. When we understand what those core beliefs or those back end stories, what is that story you keep telling yourself that's holding you back?
Yeah, yeah,
Whether I'm never going to be healthy, I'm never going to do this, I'm not that, or she's that, because we're living from that core belief within ourselves. So we
right,
need to rediscover who we truly are, and just understand that whatever we've experienced in our life, it's not our identity.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And being both starting kind of in the fitness realm of health, both of us. Um, I know back when I started, I've been teaching for 30 years, and when I started teaching, fitness was like my main barometer of health. You have to be exercising every day, and it wasn't until like a good decade later that I thought, oh yeah, maybe we should also look at what we're eating.
Right.
Fitness was like the driver in terms of health for to me, and sort of in that time, in that time period, that was the focus. And over the decades that we have been in this industry, that's really changed. That you can't, we were talking, I have a group going through a program right now. We were on a call on Monday night, and my colleague and partner in facilitating the program was talking about, you can't exercise away a bad diet, right? So there's many other components now, and rest and hydration and managing our stress, but also sleep. And we were both talking before we went live about, I was saying how I think so many people dismiss quality sleep as a component of health. They're on their Peloton bike, they're downing their green smoothies, and they're like, oh, sleep, whatever, I don't have time to sleep, or um, I don't get quality sleep. So, what's your thought about why this is so important and why people kind of like push that aside, really?
Well, if I could be honest, I think sometimes people look for like validation or attention, like,
Mhm.
oh, I don't need that much sleep.
Yeah,
You know,
what's
they're
up with that?
they're
People, stop
but
saying that.
yeah, but maybe they're saying that because internally they're really struggling.
Mm,
So it's a
mhm.
protective measure.
Yeah,
Uh, or people, like you say, like they have this need, their identity to look like that superwoman, that she can do all these things and forget about that component. It's the same as you talk about, exercise.
yeah,
I used to train a guy who said, work me hard, because he says, I'm going to go out and get the biggest lunch. Like it was that mentality, right?
yeah,
That mentality of beat myself up so I can go eat,
right.
right? And in a weird way, not tending and honoring your sleep is kind of like a dishonorment to your body, or beating your body up, because let's face it, there is a lot that goes on when we stop and think about it. There is a lot that goes on behind the scenes when you're sleeping.
Huge, huge.
Huge. There
Oh
are
my gosh.
certain hours of the night that your body is repairing and cleaning out things in your brain, your liver, your kidneys. Like there's a big healing process to that.
Yeah,
So if we're missing that, we're missing out on that. And then what happens then? It leaves us in this cycle of that fight or flight, right? We're always, our body's always on, it's trying, and you're trying to keep up, and then you down that next drink of that coffee, and you're struggling, and then you're eating. Whereas if we just paused and maybe just learned a little bit more about sleep,
yeah.
and there's so much information out there
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
that is right there at our fingertips. I know in my recent research, they're really beginning to study your circadian rhythm,
Mm,
which is that natural, that natural ebb and flow of your life, that when you wake up in the morning, you have that highest level of cortisol. And as the day progresses, that lowers and your melatonin kicks in, which is that transmitter for better sleep. So now how do we begin to work with that?
right.
Right? How do we begin to honor our body and say, holy cow, girl, you are working for me. We've got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, you can look at your sleep from everything from your your mental health, your performance at work. You can get through your work, but maybe you could get through your work a little bit better.
Sure.
There's something called brain fog. And
Mm,
then as you're working on something, you begin to become anxious. Your diet, there's a direct correlation between your brain and your gut.
right.
And if you're not resting and repairing your gut, like it's not just one thing.
Sure.
It's your happiness, your joy, your smile. I always say, fatigue makes a coward of us.
Mm,
Everything seems so much heavier to us.
right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I think people don't make the association also with the metabolism and the hormones that make you hungrier, right? That will be
Yes.
elevated without proper sleep. And people will say, I'm dieting and I'm exercising, but I'm not losing weight, but they're also not sleeping. And that is probably what is driving that
Mhm.
situation. But people often fail to see the connectiveness of the whole body and the rest and repair mechanisms that are at work that don't get to do their job. And not only are they absolutely critical when you have an illness or an injury, so you want to recover from something, you need that time where your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system can kind of even out, but also just everyday wear and tear. Everyday wear and tear in the body cannot be repaired without quality sleep. And that also leads to aging, which, we have a society that wants to run out and get every cream possible, but we could start with things like sleep and hydration and things like that that absolutely impact aging. Cindi and I are actually really 85.
I'm coming up on a birthday, so almost 86.
I'm coming up on a birthday too.
Wait, was your birthday yesterday?
No, it's next Tuesday. It's a week from yesterday.
Okay. Well, we'll celebrate that.
I think when are you?
I'm on the 24th.
Okay.
March 24th. I wanted to just back up a minute because you said something, and for those that are listening, maybe if you're unclear on this, Kristen talked about the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system. And oftentimes when we know about that, we assume that everybody knows about that. But in any event, the sympathetic system, how I always remember it, is that starts with an S, stress. Okay. Your parasympathetic is, I remember that as peace. That's your rest and digest. But so often we're living in that more on the scale, as you said, of the sympathetic system due to, things that are going on in our life, and things are going to happen. We've been experiencing that thing for a long time right now.
Right.
But there are things that we can show up for ourselves and take the responsibility to not live in, the victim side, but say, hey, this is going on. But I remember hearing Kristen and Cindi talking about this. Maybe if I took a few of these steps,
right,
maybe I could just start a little bit making that shift. I might not be perfect, but if I take this one tiny thing and begin to work at it, that's going to build that confidence within us to maybe take that next thing. And then we begin to understand that it's all the little things.
Right.
And that's why your work and my work is important as coaches, as mentors, as health advocates, is to really help people like shine that light for them and say, hey, we've all been there. We're going to be there, but we don't hang on. We can do something about this. We can take active roles in this.
Yeah. And now more than ever, I think that no matter what kind of health habits you have, the last year has been a collective trauma, and that no matter what, that's going to impact your sleep.
Right. And understanding, as you said, that connection. When I would train people, that was one of the things that was really important, is for my clients to understand how their body was moving, so that they could begin to make that neural connection and understand. So it's the same thing when we talk about habits, like, what is a habit? It's something that we do on a repetitive basis until we're doing it without even realizing we're doing it.
Right. Yeah. And I think that we have gotten also into a place where busy is like such a badge of honor. Like, we want to show that we're so busy so that we don't really have time for sleep because I'm too important for that. So just shifting the whole conversation, and knowing that because we have such a mindset in the United States, especially, that more is better. So like, if I work harder, more is better, but sometimes less is better. I actually was saying this on our Monday call, where I was in worse physical shape when I taught 10 classes a week than when I went to 5. And, at the time, when I was much younger, I thought, well, just teaching more classes is going to give me a better body, right? No, but all the things like sleep that I was kind of compromising on was not helping matters in terms of aches
Yeah.
and pains and everything else. So,
Yeah.
what are some of your? I know we both love talking about habits and rituals and things. What? Tell me a little bit about what you love in terms of a sleep routine or sleep hygiene that you find works well for yourself and for your clients.
Right. So, um, one thing I just have to say, the word busy is not sexy. It,
Amen to that, sister.
it is not sexy.
I'm
It
trying to
tells
get it out of
me,
my vocabulary. When I used to say, and when I hear people say, "How are you?" I'm crazy busy. I'm like, not me. I
kind of
do
get
not want to
it.
be that.
Exactly, exactly. So when someone says that, anyhow, it's not, I just really encourage we women, I give you permission, give yourself permission to say, things are going really well. I've got a few things going on, but I don't know, life feels really good.
It's all manageable.
Staying busy, what's going to happen? Our sympathetic, our parasympathetic is going to be like, holy cow, my life is a hot mess. I have no control. I'm so busy. And what does that do? It makes us feel less than, not like there's something wrong with us.
Agreed. Absolutely. I could not have said that better.
Yeah. So a few things, that I really teach, but I also incorporate in my day.
Gotta walk the talk as
Exactly.
best we can.
Exactly. One of the easiest things we can do is that we can begin to work with um, light and darkness,
Mm,
because naturally, when the sun rises, that light emits and sends a signal. Whoop! Time to wake up.
yeah.
And as darkness begins to happen, it sends the signal. It's time to prepare. Those are all signals to our body. Now, granted, in the summer, it's a bit, it's darker and all, but currently, we turn those lights down. We are not in, our home with bright lights everywhere.
Yeah.
So definitely, as we prepare for our dinner, the lights are on. As we sit down, the lights dim. So the light is dim over the table, but the other lights are off. Um, you know, that's one thing. Start preparing for that. Also, when you're thinking about sleep, is you know if you can, step away from those electronics. It's really hard to create, and I hate that, hard. This is hard to think that we can go to bed without our phone right by our bedside. Okay. I have that fear because I have kids everywhere, but I can put the phone in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, there, in your bedrooms, if you have any of like modem lights, street lights, any of those lights emitting in, again, that is going to start to disrupt. So,
Mm.
you know, whether they be blackout shades, curtains. I have these beautiful linen drapery, and I live in a house full of windows. So I sleep with sleep mask because I don't,
Love sleep mask.
yeah, sleep masks. And for those of you who might be interested, I found a really great one. It's called Moo, Moo, I think Muzu,
Hmm.
Moo, Muzu. I'll pop it in the link. So definitely working, with light. I get that we might be binging on Netflix, but there has to be some responsibility there.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel like Netflix is our thing, or I'm just going to use any TV watching as our thing for us to kind of rest and relax. When in fact, all those lights or subject matters, actions, again, they could begin raising. So, if you think about back in the days, they read by candlelight, they
Yeah.
they did, that kind of thing. So light is a really big one to start.
Yeah, that's huge. I love that you say that. And I feel like, again, I'm all about balance. You can do both. Like I love a good Netflix show, but by an hour before I'm going to sleep, I am off everything because I'm a huge reader, first of all. And so I like to read, but I like to do both. And I need to know that I can step away so that I have that time to wind down.
Absolutely. I love a TV show as well. You're absolutely right, but it's super easy for us
Yeah.
to kind of just hang out in there. And then so it's kind of that responsibility, like you're saying, in both of those roles. There's also companies that are now working with light bulbs. So if we begin to think, like what is that feel that you get when you light candles or you're sitting around a campfire, that warm ember glow, right? That begins to make you feel relaxed, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So also before bed, um, I'm a huge bath fan.
Me
That
too.
yeah, I know. That's why I said, girl, I
Oh
think we
my
have
gosh.
so many. So it
Our
could
like parallel lives here.
absolutely, it could be a candle with some bath salts. I know Arbonne, I have a lot of wonderful products. I have a few essential oils from Kristen that I'm so into the eucalyptus. In my bath that I just love the smell of it. It's fresh, it's relaxing, and a candle. So all of those things begin to relax your body, the warmth, within our body. Again, it's that signaling to help relax our muscles because when we go through our days, and maybe if we're working on, I don't know, a project or you're going through something, it's very natural for us to hold in our bodies, right?
Yeah.
We're constantly contracting as we're working or stress, we're holding in our stomachs. So I do believe that baths are a great resource. And it kills me when I hear women say, "Oh, I don't have time for that," or "I don't." Well, if you only understood the
Exactly. I
deliciousness.
am with you on that 100%. But if you truly are not a bath person and maybe you have time, but you don't have a bathtub or whatever, you could take a long hot shower and you could take that eucalyptus or whatever your favorite oil is. And I drop a couple of little drops on the corners of my shower when I do a morning shower. And that just brings the whole aroma like I'm in a spa. So
Oh,
I love that. You
oh,
could do
thanks
that
for
at night.
that tip. I've not brought it into the shower.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Corner, so you're not slipping in it, a drop, a drop or two, and you can just inhale it. I like to do that when I take a shower in the morning with like a peppermint or an orange or something, just to like, yeah,
To awaken the senses, right?
yes,
So it's kind of the opposite. Another thing is the temperature in your room. I think we've all been there because it's very natural for, as night goes, or have you even, well, here's a good one. Have you ever noticed around 4 o'clock, you might kind of feel a little bit chilly?
mm-hmm.
So that's kind of that shift, right? Like we're going from that cortisol down, into the melatonin. So that signaling. So as we prepare for sleep, it's very natural for our body to ebb and flow temperature wise.
Right,
But there's nothing worse than waking up in the middle, you go to bed, you come out of your bath, you're all cozy under your blankets. And then in the middle of the night, maybe your body temp has risen and the room is hot. Well, then that can wake you up, the disruptive, sleep.
yeah, definitely.
So I think controlling light, the temperature, preparing, making it a routine or a ritual. Like, what can I do to send the signal to my body
Right.
that it's time for bed?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been working on that for a while. I know you and I are both huge fans of the morning routine, and we should probably do another
Yeah.
live about that. But the evening routine has been a little bit more challenging because, you know, when you wake up, it's the first thing, right? But when you're going to bed, like many different things could have happened to lead up to that, and so I'm still working on that myself. Personally, I of course love the oils. and I usually like to share at least one oil every time we go live. And so my favorite go-to sleep oil is a vetiver, which when I first tried it, I wasn't a huge fan of the scent, but I love it now. It's a very earthy, it smells kind of like dirt, but in a good way, very earthy scent. And putting it on the bottoms of my feet or running my diffuser at night is one way. And that I like to prepare for sleep and kind of set the tone. I'll even set the diffuser up, you know, quite a while before bedtime so that the whole room is filled with with the scent by the time come up to bed. But the other thing that I've used recently, which was a Christmas gift that I am really digging, is the weighted blanket.
Oh,
Do you have this? Oh my
I
God.
don't.
I really do feel like I'm getting a bicep workout now because that thing is freaking heavy. And if it falls off the bed in the middle of the night, I'm like, I can't get it back up. But
Like
I
watch your shoulders and your back.
yeah, I did find I had to be a little careful about that. But that thing is like it's great for anxiety or overwhelm or anything like that. And it's really good. It's really helping me sleep, I think. My sleep is
That's amazing because again, what that's doing, it's suppressing that sympathetic.
yeah,
It's that safety.
yeah, like
We
back in the womb.
Yeah, we have just a comforter that I roll like at the bottom of the bed.
Mhm.
So I literally take the side from John, I flip it over, and I bring it to, let's just say, over my calves, knees, and the top of my thighs. And just that little bit makes me feel like I'm not like, but I'm feeling secure in that weight on my body.
Yes, I love that. I love to feel like a burrito when I go to
Yeah.
sleep, like I'm all wrapped up.
It's great. It's really great. And I say every night, I'm like, my favorite part of the day is to get into bed. And oh, I might also mention, how about clean sheets? Clean sheets are amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, you can spritz a little essential oil, or I know you have a little something you said that you use
Yeah.
to
So I have mixed some lavender, like I have a spray bottle and I spritz like our pillows and things and just kind of what's pulling up. But also in Arbonne we have something called a sleep well spray.
Mhm.
So this is, maybe one or two, spritzes in your back of your throat, but things like to
Oh,
help
you
with
spritz
your
it in your throat. I didn't even
yeah,
realize
you
that. I thought you spritz it on your pillow.
no, 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 no. The sleep well is in your mouth and it
Oh,
has things like melatonin and valerian. And, you know, we're always going to go through something in our life, right? We have different, for me, going through my health and life coaching and branding, there was a lot of excitement. So there are times where your head is going. So I
oh
love
yeah.
we have sleep well, like aids to support us that are something that we can use for a period of time, but it's not addictive, if you will.
Right.
Another one I have that has been really useful is we have it's called Inner Calm. It's kind of hard to see, but Inner Calm is a powder that you mix with water. And this has adaptogenic herb that is called ashwagandha. And there's a lot that is being done with adaptogenic herbs. And if you don't know what that is, think about it. It helps your body adapt to the situation.
Right.
So ashwagandha is one that helps like with stress. It can help with sleep, but this also has saffron and it's like a peach, like a very mild peach flavor. So this is just, like one little serving a day, and that could actually support you on your journey
Yeah.
in helping you with better sleep, because we know hormones play a huge role. Your diet plays a huge role, your thoughts, your rituals, it all does.
It all it's all the same. It's all connected. It's all one package, as we say.
Right, right. And it's important to kind of talk with each person, kind of like what they're looking for and kind of what does their day look like. That's what I
Yeah.
love to be able to help people with. But I think what we shared are just some really general ones that really could just be part of a daily day to day.
Yeah. And you can always keep it simple. I mean, just having like a cup of chamomile tea at night and turning off the phone, you know, just start there. Start with something that's really doable and feels good to you.
Right, right. And that's the best way, with any habits, is that you can, in a strange way, by just having that cup of tea and reading, it's almost like a 2 for 1. You're actually taking responsibility and helping your body sleep, but it's also a reward as well, because you're having that little bit of time and that self-love and self-care, and it's gonna help with that overall. Just even knowing you're treating yourself well and that it's kind of like honoring yourself
Yeah,
can offer you a wonderful night's sleep.
absolutely. You're giving yourself permission for it. The
Permission.
laundry will still be there. Other things will still be, texts will still be there to be answered, but you are the CEO of your health and your life. So you get to make that decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, these have been great tips, and it's always a pleasure chatting with you. And
Thank you, Kristen.
I really appreciate your time. And so we'll put your link below
Okay.
for your website or how people can contact you. And Thank you so much thanks for watching, folks. If you're watching the replay or even if you're watching live, I always keep my eye on the live in case there's any comments. Just drop in the comments below what your favorite tip for getting a good night's sleep is. So we would love to hear, because that's how we learn and that's how we grow, by sharing with one another.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kristen. It's always fun to chat with you.
Always, always. Thanks for listening, guys.